storyteller today is Kirsten McLaughlin. I met Kirsten a few months ago. Welcome, Kirsten. Where are you hiding? Thank you.
Well, I thought I was going to be number 6, and I'm like, damn, I really want some wine tonight, but this is sort of exciting, and also imperfectly perfect, or perfectly imperfect, that I'm second, so I'll have a glass of wine after this. My theme tonight is about, what tonight's about, so perfectly imperfect, but I find the imperfectly, I actually was saying imperfectly perfect. So imperfectly perfect for me is the unknown. And the unknown for me has probably brought the best out of my life. Generally, for me, the unknown, as you probably guess, is unpredictable. We don't know what's about to happen. And I find that the best thing that can offer that is nature. So if I think about the swimmers here, how many of you, do you mind putting your hands up? I don't recognise that many, but yep, here we are. Manly swimmers, the B&Bs. I've been here for about 1.5 years, and I think the perfect example of nature offering the unknown and how important that is swimming. So when we go down there, we jump into the ocean. You never know if you're going to see a cuttlefish. You never know if you're going to see a turtle that might just come up and get some air and just see you as you're swimming over it. My friend saw a seal go underneath her. Sometimes you can just swim, dive down, and there's over 2,000 yellowtail fish that you can just swim with. And I think it's that unknown. And what I notice about the unknown here in Manly when we swim is it just seems to bring the childlike side out of us. So people are giggling and people are going, oh my God, I saw this, I saw that. We socialise a lot together. There's something really special, I think, about this group, because for me, it's the unknown that's being offered with nature. So I was 12, I was in New Zealand. I got the chance to go to my cousins. They have a big 1,000-acre sheep farm, typical for New Zealand. And I was really excited because I was going to be able to ride my own horse. I'm from a small town, pretty rural, but we were a bit poor. My mum was a teacher. She was looking after my granddad. He'd become sick, Koro Tom we call him. And so he'd actually taken over her room, and she was actually pulling a bed out every night, sleeping in the living room. My sister and I were sleeping together. But yeah, she'd offered for me to go off with some cousins and go to Taharua, and that's in the North Island of New Zealand. And it's actually a really sleepy little place, only a few houses in the town, a few farms, but really big farms. And it's got the ocean right around it. And it's actually where there's all the iron ore that is being exported to Japan. So you've got the sleepy place, and then you've just got all these ships out there. I think as a 12-year-old, I was like, oh, this is a bit weird. I got to go there just a few days before the school holidays, and I got to go on a horse, bareback, with my cousins, Mickey and Daniel, and one's 8, one's 10. So we just got our bags, and then they just, we had to get up on the horse ourselves, get up on a box or a fence, and somehow hoist ourselves over the horse and ride bareback all the way for an hour. And we used to go over massive hills. I mean, maybe as a small child, they're not as big as I think, but probably about like 3 times higher than where we are now. We had sand dunes, and we would go through little creeks and get to ride. I think it was just that freedom we had as little kids, they just sent us off. And I remember the hardest thing was trying to open and close the gates. The horses were a little bit cheeky, and you had to sort of hold on and then somehow open and close and make sure they didn't wedge your leg in there, and then get back up on the horse and not fall off. But we made it, and we parked them beside this one classroom school. And yeah, from that week, and then when the holidays hit, me and Storm was my horse. Storm was an older horse, but really powerful. Had a big mane, caramel colour. And we just got to be alone. I'd get up early, do the chores, and then that's it. We would just go somewhere. And we would just find the unknown. We didn't know we were going each day. Just me and Storm. Remember one time we actually found a beach where they had a batch. We call them batches over there, like shacks on the beach. And it was just me and Storm. I'd actually had a little snooze at one point, went for a swim. Just the horse and I think it's moments like that, where it's silent. All you can hear are the seagulls. You're alone. and you just get to do whatever you want. You dream, you sleep, you snooze, and just being in that sort of remote place was really amazing. So I think that was probably one of the main things that actually sort of really impacted my life. I think I was always trying to ride horses, but coming back from that, I just felt like I'd been given my own freedom. So as that 12-year-old kid, it was really, really priceless. So I think my nature is unknown and life is unknown. You know, we don't know what's about to happen to us. Here I am here now in Manly. I didn't even know as a 12-year-old that would happen. And in life, when I was 14, another big impact for me was in school. At the time, I was a bit of a rebel. I wasn't really attending that much. I had pretty naughty kids that I was hanging out with. I was playing netball and basketball and touch football and rowing and rugby. And we'd just been given back our results for the first essay that you do. And you actually have to pass the school certificate to be able to go to the next level, so year 11 and 12. And I got a shocking result. And actually, I'll let you know what it was soon, but Mrs. Henderson was probably the turning point of my life there, because she actually gave me a few tips to help me radically change my results after that. And I'll talk about it soon, but what she did was so simple, and it really did, I think, spark this passion for human potential. You never know what's going to happen. You never know what a teacher's going to say. You never know the next person you're going to meet or the next situation. And what she actually said to me was so profound that it ended up sparking my career. So I think from those two experiences, I've always been someone who's really passionate about being comfortable with the unknown. Nature offers that to me all the time if I can spend as much time as possible in that. And then human potential is pretty exciting for me, so it's been my career. The only thing is that I haven't really been able to match the two. I've usually worked in corporate, and I felt like, oh well, all I can do is go swimming in Manly, or I can spend time in nature, but how am I going to incorporate the two together? When my kids were 7 and 9, I thought I'd like to give them a chance to have the type of childhood I had. I was living in Manly, and so I took them up to the mid-north coast in New South Wales, and we went to Bellingen. Anyone heard of Bellingen? Yeah, so beautiful. It reminded me of New Zealand. It had drinkable creeks from state parks and national forests. It had lots of bamboo, so that's why I got into bamboo. People were going, oh my God, what is this noxious weed? And I got the chance to go to Bali and the Green School and the Green Village and think, wow, they're making amazing architectural, structural buildings out of bamboo, using it like an eco product. Did you know that 100-year-old hardwood, you can get one bamboo that's 3 years old and it's as strong as that. And the Germans are saying that bamboo is stronger than, with tensile strength than steel, and more got the compression stronger than concrete. So there's all these things that we don't know about things, so knowing and finding out about the unknown ends up leading to what it did for me was a completely new career. I had been working in training, and then next time I got curious about bamboo, and then all of a sudden they wanted me to be the MC for the World Bamboo Summit, and then next time I'm like, all these amazing Ministry of Agriculture and experts throughout the world all thought Kirsten from Bellingen was some expert. Anyway, so it was really great to be able to have the opportunity, and I think the theme of my career has actually been curious. And nature does make us more curious, because we're always saying, well, what's that flower? What's that fish? What's that? What's that? And it's been probably a blessing. Maybe that's why Kiwis are over here in Australia, because nature here is really, really cool. And I like the weather better here than New Zealand. So nature, the unknown offers a lot of mistakes too though. So the first time I had to do my first public speaking, I was at a business women's network with about this many people. I'd been a trainer and had small groups, and then, I don't know if you've ever done it, I came up on stage and it was like a blur. It felt like it all went into slow motion. And I couldn't even, my brain was foggy, it was a nightmare. But I, get back up on the horse. I ended up thinking, what can I do? Someone up at Toastmasters, did that, did practice, and then all of a sudden I feel comfortable speaking now. I think it's supposed to be, what is it, #1 there in life above death. But we all want you to come and speak. We want more speakers. That's sort of like nature and this ocean here in Manly. I know when I first started swimming, how many of you were like me, you just went, no way, sharks, might be eaten. I don't want to be eaten, thank you. Or going across the massive ocean, straight across to Shelley, well, I can't see the bottom, But then you get supported by people, it's the unknown, and then all of a sudden, one day, you look around and go, oh my God, I'm actually swimming by myself across the big ocean. And I'm not scared of sharks anymore. So it's been a great journey to be able to come to Manly and experience that. Last year, just as COVID-19 hit, I was pretty new back to Manly, and like many people, I actually ended up having a lot of time. Don't know if anyone else experienced that. I just finished a contract, and then there wasn't much work that I was doing at that time. So I started a Masters of Professional Practice with Otago University. It's a very unique course where you look at your profession and you think, what can I do to add innovation? And I said to them, look, I don't know, I've just sort of lost my mojo. I don't know, something's missing. I like doing corporate, but I love doing this bamboo stuff, and how the hell am I going to be able to do that here in Manly? So they recommended that I select 2 lecturers that specialise in my passions and interests. So I said, can I have someone in eco-business? Can I have someone in the corporate business background education? So I've got 2 amazing mentors for me. And they've helped me spark through this journey of exploration of my life, my career, what's going to be my mojo, what's going to give me that back. And that's when I started the Intuit Institute. And so I've heard the term before with bamboo, the word biophilia. Bio means nature, philia means tendency towards. And a lot of architects, designers, people in the building construction area realising, well, they're saying we actually need, and humans need, to be around nature. So we need buildings that are more natural. We need plants. We need air, fresh air. We need good sunlight. We need to be near windows rather than in a cubicle that's grey. So it's been going since about the 1980s as a concept. Lots and lots of research behind it. And then just recently, there's been research around biophilia therapy. So when people go into the bush. I don't know if you know, but there's what they call terpenes in the air. So if you go for 4 hours walk in the forest, you'll actually have very positive benefits that can be measured for your well-being, for your intelligence, for your energy to overcome depression, all through this air that's been released by the trees. It happens with negative ions with ocean, bamboo, they call it anions. So there's some really fascinating stuff going on, but often it's sort of, we're still doing, when it comes to human potential, the work that I do, we're still looking at general things, and I'd like to focus specifically on nature. So when it comes to the unknown, what I'm going to be doing at the Intuit Institute is unknown. Where are we going to be heading with this? Is unknown. And but it's exciting for me. Is that a good sales pitch? I think anytime you're able to do your passion, it's really exciting the way the world of work's going nowadays. And it reminds me that you never know what's going to happen next with Mrs. Henderson. Here I am, that teenager at 14, and I'm just sitting there looking down at 34% on my essay piece of paper. And doomsday. My town doesn't have high employment or many options. We were thinking maybe Steggall's chicken farm or the local arbitor. A lot of boys, especially left at 15, earn a lot of money. But I just remember when aunties and uncles would come home from those places and they just reeked of chicken or meat, and I was just starting to think about that when I was looking at this piece of paper. And anyway, the bell rang and my teacher came over and she said, Kirsten, she was smiling, and I'm thinking, I don't know why she's smiling. And Mrs. Henderson said, do you know that you're a mosaic thinker? But it was just the way she said it. I'm like, what? I mean, mosaic, did art isn't that like we piece together ceramics to make walls and floors? So, but she was smiling at me and it made me feel a little bit better, and she said, yeah, you've got a very creative brain and you've got all these ideas, and because you've got so many great ideas, sometimes you might try and start writing that and it won't come out logically. So all you need to do is 3 things. The first thing you need to do is just, instead of doing it in your mind, write it down on paper, write down all your key points. Then when you look at it, say which one would be good first, second, third, order it. Then here's a piece of paper on how to do start, middle and end of essays, and here's a piece of paper on how to link paragraphs. And you'll be right. I'm like, yeah, right, like I don't think it's going to be that easier. So the next time the essay came towards me, I was a bit worried. And yeah, very surprised. I actually got 98%. Yeah, so, you know, I'm different, I'm unique, we're all different, we're all unique. But she managed to see something and give me some practical skills. So who knows, every time you do something unknown, you're having an impact maybe on someone and their life and their destiny. And every time we do it for ourselves, we're opening ourselves up to the perfectly imperfect. It's fun.
Tendency to run away after anything, but you can't hide. Thanks so much, Kirsten, for your story. I know that it's been on your mind coming up here, but you've done a great job. And you know, now it's perfectly imperfect, and you've got nearly the perfect mark. What's the coolest thing you've ever seen in bamboo?
I really liked how my sons would come home from high school in Bellingen on the bus, and they'd be like give them some food and then say, right, get out there into the bamboo grove and chop some things to make that beautiful path. And I'm like, no, I can't stand bamboo, I don't want to go in there. And then they'd get in there and they'd have the machete and then they'd start doing karate kicks, and it was magical to watch these massive poles. When they're really old, they'll just go smash. And then they would start doing flips, so they actually got into parkour through bamboo. So anyway, by the time I get down there, half an hour later, they've turned into little monkeys, so that was pretty cool.
Put your hands together for stories are all about taking us on a journey, and you've had such a journey with your career, Kirsten. It's really wonderful to hear.